Welcome to the Management Advantage. Folks, today's show is driven by your email. Been getting a lot of questions lately on why am I not seeing deer on my food plot. It's pretty and green, there's plenty of tracks, plenty of buck sign like that rub, plenty of scrapes around the field, but I'm still not seeing deer. Well folks, there's several answers to those questions. Right after the messages, a good friend of mine, Rodney Dyer, is going to join me and we're going to try to shed some light on some of your food plot problems.
Welcome to the Management Advantage, gaining the advantage through proper land management with your host, Chuck Sykes, who is dedicated to sound wildlife management practices and principles that will help both sportsmen and landowners get the optimum potential from their land. Sponsored by Realtree, the camouflage revolution begins here. Holland Grill, nothing else stacks up. Motorola, share your adventure. The Whitetail Institute of North America. Deer nutrition is all we do. Augusta Turf and Specialty Vehicle, the exclusive home of the Team Realtree Edition Easy Go Workhorse ST480. Arsenal by BASF. The Lodge of Louisiana and the BASF Vegetative Group.
Rodney, I know you have never gotten a question like, why am I not seeing deer on this field? You sold me the seed. I planted it like you said I was supposed to. Right. Now I'm not seeing any deer.
Oh, it's a daily question, more 10 times a day a lot of times. What people got to realize, and I hope your viewers get that from this show, is that one, the habitat. You've got to have the right location to put your field, near bedding area, and transitional zones. And also, hunting on the field is really critical of wind.
Right.
I mean, wind plays the most important factor of whether or not you're going to see any deer on your field.
Folks, that's the main two keys to a food plot. Put it in the right location, and second of all, hunt it wisely. Use the wind in your favor. Rodney and I are going to take you around today. We're going to show you several different food plots, several different hunting scenarios, on why the food plot was located where it was, why the stand was located where it was, so you can optimize your hunting time on these food plots. Now I want you to go with Stu Jackson of Motorola on a well-designed food plot, hunting proper wind directions. I want you to take a look at his hunt. On him whenever you want to. That's that deer. That grace is plenty big enough to shoot.
Is it the big one?
Yeah.
I can't see it.
Okay, well just hold on.
Is it too far?
Just hold on.
I can't see it.
Okay, here he comes now. Just
shoulder. Right in the shoulder. How do you miss something 3 times the size of what you've been hitting? What a mess. That was lined up as good as anything I've had this week. You know, Bill was right. When you see those horns, it changes everything.
Now at first glance, if you look at this food plot, you would think that it wasn't planted well or it didn't grow well, but that's not the case. This field looks the way it's supposed to. This is just showing you that it's being browsed heavily. It's a prime example of a food plot being in a proper location. Rodney, I want you to tell everybody why you chose this specific location to put this food plot.
All right, Chuck. What I did is deer are ectotonal species. They like edges. And actually this is an edge of 3 different habitats coming right together. I've got a hardwood bottom right here in front of us. Then I've got my bedding area back here where honeysuckle and the thicker grass is. And then you go back into the pine plantation. So what I did is I found this spot, we cleared it out with a bulldozer, and put our food plot in. And that's why actually right here, the deer are killed right here as they come out of the bedding area in the morning.
Right, they're staying right here. They're feeding right here. This is the reason this food plot looks bad right here. It wasn't planted improperly. It's fine. The deer, this is the closest area to their bedding spot, so bucks are coming to right here in plenty of daylight for you to take a look at them. And we're going to walk right down here and show you a utility cage where you can see what this field would look like if it didn't have heavy deer pressure on it. Folks, this is a utility cage that you need to be putting on all of your food plots. What this does, it lets you know if your seed germinated properly and what this field would look like so you can gauge your browsing pressure. On that lower end, the deer were eating it down to the dirt. This shows you if there wasn't any deer, this is what this food plot was going to look like. So we've got a lot of deer using it, and the further away from that bedding area we got, the higher the grass got. So that's showing you where the deer are coming in first. So Rodney's got his shooting house right down here. We'll go take a look at it, show you what wind directions we need to hunt, and most importantly, access to this shooting house where you don't spook your deer coming in and more importantly, leaving. This is a good trail to get into this shooting house. That way you're not affecting them down there on that lower end.
Right, I try to make them so it looks like a blind man can walk to them, so you just slip in, slip right up your ladder into the shooting house.
All right, we've already determined that the bedding area is down here. We've got a good access trail coming in and out where we don't have to spook the deer. Next thing we need to do is get a compass direction where we can tell what wind we need to hunt. North and south. Bedding area is going to be really on the southwest end of the field, so we need a wind blowing anywhere from the south, blowing this way, or anything from the west blowing that way. Anything from the east is going to be blowing our scent from the box back to the bedding area, and you're not going to see any deer. So the position of this field and this shooting house, this gives us something to hunt on a south wind or west wind. Now, if you've got multiple fields on your property, you need to find one that you can hunt on a north wind or an east wind. You got one of those we can go look at?
Got a bunch.
All right, let's go take a look at that. A lot of people just don't understand how important it is to watch those wind directions. If I've got 180 class deer using a field every day, there is no doubt where the bedding area is around this food plot.
Exactly, especially with that big rub right there and the way this field's being grazed down.
Well, I mean, you've got a huge rub right there. You've got 3 or 4 scrapes right here. There's a half a dozen trails from here to here coming out. Right. You got your shooting house down at the far end where you can come in and out without them knowing it. So on this field, you're gonna need that's due north, right. So you hunt this field with any kind of west wind from here to here, and a north wind, and you could even get by with a northeast wind cutting across since you're at the lower end of the field.
Because, I mean, we're harvesting our deer right here on this end of the field. They come right out of these trails, like you said, and it's a little bit further shot for a lot of people, but still, that's the best way to hunt this field.
Right. I mean, those bucks can lay 50 yards right there. And it doesn't take him 2 seconds to get up and walk from there to here.
Right.
He can check this field for does, lay his scrapes down, see what all's going on, and he doesn't have to go far, so he can be here in plenty of shooting light. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this right here.
You may have to wait for certain winds, but it's best to wait. Because
Right.
that plays a key thing on whether or not deer are going to be in your field or not.
I mean, even if that's a 180 class deer, and you've got a south wind blowing from the shooting house up in here, you're wasting your time, because you got one crack at him. If he smells you, it's over with. So
Deer
you
don't get that big by being stupid.
That's right. So you hunt your winds properly, bide your time. I mean, the wind will change.
This week we'd like to talk about another question that we got here at the Whitetail Institute. Again, a question that is quite common that's found here in this letter. And that question asks, can I use my Imperial 30-06 12 months out of the year? Will I need to use anything else? Well, that's actually a question we started investigating several years ago here at the Institute. The reason why we started taking a look at that is we noticed that deer seem to back off of the mineral sites at different times of the year, especially during the colder months in the fall and the winter. And after a lot of work and a lot of diving into this question, what we found out is that the nutritional needs of deer actually change throughout the year. Different times of the year, different nutritional needs will come about. What that led us to is to the development of 3 specific products designed for 3 different times of the year. The cutting edge product line, which is a revolutionary step in the product line because for the first time now we have a seasonal supplement system, each one designed for different times of the year. Well, what are those 3 phases? Well, first of all, we'll start with late winter, early spring. It's this time of the year that bucks are just beginning the early stages of antler growth and does are in their last trimester of pregnancy. During that last trimester, 60% of fetal growth occurs, so we need specific nutrients designed for fetal growth and early antler growth. The next phase is in the bulk of the antler growing period, that is the spring and summer months. What we're looking at here is what nutrients do we need for that heavy amount of antler growth and then also for lactation of the does. And finally we have the fall and winter period. It is during this time the deer are trying to maintain their body condition and make it through those tough winter months. It's for this time of year we designed Cutting Edge Sustain. It contains all the nutrients designed for body maintenance, which is especially important for those fawns trying to make it through their first winter. Now next week we're going to go into each one of these products more specifically, Cutting Edge Initiate, Cutting Edge Optimize, and Cutting Edge Sustain, on how and when to use them.
We covered a lot of information today on the management advantage, and if you're interested in getting more information on what we talked about today, deer management in general, food plots, and mineral supplements and the benefits they provide, we're offering a free video and also a sample of Imperial Whitetail Clover for you to try. All you'll do is pay $4.95 for shipping and handling. Call 1-800-688-3030.
Tell you what, they have browsed that honeysuckle right in there.
Oh yeah. It's funny how deer hang to the edge.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is a pretty big spot, but
They still going.
stay on the edge.
Yep. That is some good thickets right in there. Got a pretty good stand of clover out here too. Yeah, he's got a licking branch right there coming up that road. I mean, Rodney, this is just, I mean, that's a good scrape with a nice licking branch right there. I mean, you can't get any better than this.
No.
You got your mass producing trees around you. You got a good bedding area right here. I mean, this is as good as it gets if you use your head and hunt the wind, right? I mean, I can see why y'all have a bunch of deer using this plot.
Well, the misconception is a hardwood bottom, but 3 months out of the year is the only time you're getting any use out of it.
I mean, pretty much down here you got from October to December, and then it's gone.
And then they need something else besides
Right, and you put it right along the border of these pine trees and those hardwoods. You still got honeysuckle, and even in the dead of winter, you got mushrooms in those pines that they're feeding on.
Right.
And they can lay in there, pick around those mushrooms in the middle of the day, and then just step right to the edge on these food plots. And it's a great place to carry first-time hunters, husbands and wives in these big boxes, or especially kids to get them interested. They can sit there, play, talk. They don't have to be still or freeze to death.
Right, my little one boy Jonathan, he goes to sleep when he comes with me half the time.
Well, I mean, food plot hunting is definitely the way to go if you want to get the whole family involved. Now, folks, so far the fields that Rodney and I have shown you have been in circumstances where you've got multiple fields that you can hunt, place shooting houses and access points where you can hunt the fields on opposite winds. Some of you aren't blessed with that luxury. You've got one field that you can hunt, so this is how you take care of it. And you got a field on either side.
Right. What we've done here is we put a stand on the north side and then one here on the south side. So any north wind or south wind combination, we've got somewhere to go. I mean, we've got trails coming in behind that one and this one, so if we want to leave, we don't spook what's on the field.
And that's the main thing. And folks, you know, you've only got so many days to be in the woods. And if you've only got one field that you can hunt, it will pay in the long run for you to spend a little more money, buy one extra stand, and put you a couple of different locations around one field, especially a field of this size. And you can hunt it practically every day of the year, but you can hunt it smart so you're not spooking your deer.
Another thing, of people that don't want to hunt on their green fields kind of make it a sanctuary. What we do, actually there's some down in there, is we put stands off 50 to 100 yards back into the woods, catching the deer coming to the field, so they'll feel comfortable out here, sticking their head down in the forage and eating without feeling uncomfortable.
Folks, now I want you to go with Jake Jacob of Stearns Outdoors on a late season Alabama hunt.
The wind's perfect tonight. Bucks are in full rut. Should be a good night.
There.
Well, we just shot at I think it was an 8-pointer. Looked pretty tall. I don't know how big he was, heavy he was, but we're gonna go out to take a look and see if we got him or not.
Hunting down in the south over food plots and shooting houses. This is my finest buck so far, and when I get back to Minnesota, working on getting some property, definitely going to be the way to do it, setting up food plots with proper shooting houses with proper wind direction. You can get results like this.
Welcome to this week's Holland Grill cooking segment. Today we're going to use a recipe by Donna Murphy. All of y'all know Mike now as my camera guy. Well, Donna turned me on to this recipe for cubed deer steak. Now the ingredients we're going to need 3 whole potatoes, 1 bell pepper, a couple of small onions, some of Brad's seasoning, a can of cream of mushroom soup, some Worcestershire sauce, salt and pepper, and of course your deer meat. First thing we're going to do is just slice all our potatoes up. So you get the potatoes cut up. Next step, just slice your onions up. Next step is just cut your bell pepper up in here. There you've got a mixture of your potatoes, onions, and your bell pepper. All right, the next step, we just got some cubed deer steak. We're just gonna cut it up into bite-sized chunks. Okay, once we get through cutting that up, it's time to add 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. All right, after we put in our cream of mushroom soup, we'll just add a little Worcestershire sauce to taste, just a little bit. Next ingredients, we just want to add some of Brad's Private Stock Carolina seasoning. We want to add just a little bit of salt and pepper. Don't look like a whole lot right now, but I promise you, it'll be fantastic in about 45 minutes. Seal it with some tin foil. That was the hardest part of this recipe, is cutting everything up and getting it mixed together. Now, as always, cooking on this Holland grill, you need to preheat. So we've got it preheated to about 400 degrees. And that's all you do. We'll see you in about 45 minutes and take it up and we'll show you what it looks like. Well, our 45 minutes is up. I'll tell you what, before I take it up, let's just make sure it's ready. It's hot, but it's good. Y'all don't thank Miss Donna Murphy for this recipe. It is fantastic. We'll see you next week right here on the Holland Grill Cooking segment.
Remember to send your recipes to CS Wildlife Services at mindspring.com. Your recipe may be featured on a future show.
Folks, a properly planted food plot is an asset to your hunting experience by improving the quality of your deer herd and improving the overall aesthetics of your hunting property. But it doesn't matter if you plant the most expensive seed, use the best fertilizer. If your plot is not in the right location, your stand's not in the right location, and you don't hunt the proper wind, you're just wasting your time. So folks, remember these keys the next time you're planting a food plot or getting ready to go on that next hunting trip. This is just one more way we're helping you gain the advantage through proper management. We'll see you next week right here on the Management Advantage.
The Management Advantage was brought to you by Realtree. The camouflage revolution begins here. Holland Grill, nothing else stacks up. Motorola, share your adventure. The Whitetail Institute of North America. Deer nutrition is all we do. Augusta Turf and Specialty Vehicle, the exclusive home of the Team Realtree Edition Easy Go Workhorse ST480. Arsenal by BASF. The Lodge of Louisiana and the BASF Vegetative Group.